All right. What's up? What's up, folks? Sunny stream during sunny weather in sunny Belgium. It's the end of the year and the end of summer, I mean. And it's finally sunny or more sunny over here now. Which even more warrants a nice sip of this cold Karmeliet, which I've already drank from. So cheers, skål. I made the mistake of not booting IntelliJ before starting the stream, so we'll have to deal with some. How do you say that? Oh god. Some unprepared stuff, such as me not being in presentation mode. Here we go. And maybe indexing, if we're lucky. But in the meanwhile, let's visit our board. So last time I remember vaguely that we finished some stuff. I think we can click on, oh yeah, we can click on dummy challenge, and then I remember we had the nickname, excuse me, we had the nickname there of the person that corresponds to this ID. And then when we wrote some stuff in here and in here and we clicked challenge, and then it indeed fired a new challenge. Nice, huh? So I guess the next part we could do would be to add your pending challenges. So it makes sense that after you click on challenge, you would be redirected maybe to your home page, which lives here. And that somewhere, because you're logged in then, of course, your pending challenges are rendered there or something like that. Yeah. That's, I think, what we could do, but instead what we're gonna do is do a little bit of a refactoring, maybe a little bit, maybe the entire night, we will see. I wish I wrote that stuff down, in fact. Because I really thought I did, in fact. That's kind of annoying that I didn't. Yes. So hang on, I forgot to post my going live message in one place. Hoppakee. Send, zegt hem. Voilà. Alrighty. So let's look for that place where we were gonna do some refactoring. I just remember that it was a good time to do it, so that's all I actually remember. I think this means that we did some changes. One problem in this file. Oei. What problem is that? Not being used. Yeah, that's fine. Fine by me. Here, it's the same issue probably. Yeah, voila, okay. That's all Gucci. Maybe what we should do is look for to-dos or something then. To-do. Oh. Not in main.js, but maybe in only... Wait, that's not what I wanted. In .elm files. There we go. Error handling. No. Don't want to do that, so I'm gonna remove all of this crap. Voila, that was from a past thing. And then here, that also seems like an actual feature here instead of a refactoring, so we're not gonna do that either. I think I remember now. So one thing I wanted to do in the Elm part of our application was to make sure that we've got like only one way to handle fetching the player info or something like that. Because if I remember correctly, there's like a registered player thing. Here, voila. So when we end up at this page, at the challenge Elm page, as you can see over here, no, so dummy challenge, there's some hard-coded ID there. And the moment you enter this page, a request is being done that goes to fetch the player that belongs to this ID, so that we can just add their name, their nickname here, and that when you repress the challenge, that ID is also being passed to the actual challenge JSON. That's one part where we are dealing with a registered player info part, and the other place where we are doing that so it happens to be the same list, I guess. Yeah, so here's init page where we are doing a get to API / player and then the ID, and here's the same one but to a different endpoint where we want info of a certain player. And I think it was this one that we wanted to refactor, because this /API / player / info endpoint already also exists in another file here in Elm, main.elm I mean, where we are basically doing the same thing, but we are mapping it to a different it's a local decoder here. Voila. This is a registered player type alias that lives in registration.elm. Also kind of weird. Oh damn, I forgot what the back button was. Was it control? Yeah, I think it was control dash, and then control shift dash would be go forward again. Okay. Yeah, so main.elm uses stuff in registration, which it doesn't belong there at all, in fact, because this really serves to just do the registration stuff. So when you, at least I think so, now I'm not sure anymore. Is this also used here? Perform fetch players? What does this thing mean? Show fixes? Oh, no. Let's see where this thing is used. Over here, handle register players response. Yeah, we just want to go and fetch the players, but I don't think there was an actual reason to do that. It was just, yeah, a derpy way to get a list back of who was actually registered, just so that we get instant confirmation. But I don't want to do that anymore. So let's get rid of this stuff. So instead of perform fetch players, we'll do none. So don't do anything. Or we could navigate, in fact, back to the home screen where we are logged in. Maybe that makes a little bit more sense. But that I already forgot how to do that. So maybe let's add a to-do here. Navigate back to home while retaining logged in status. I mean, I don't know how that's gonna end up like. Ooh, let's also start up our backend. It's a bit weird that it's positioned there. There we go. Oh, I constantly forget. I want to run it in debug mode, so let's do Control-Option-D. Oh, and then it's not. Ah, here we go. And we want to, yeah, run scrambled application. Now I'm not sure if my Docker container is up and running. This we can remove. Oh yeah, seems to be up and running. And then I guess this stuff is compiling and stuff. So let's have that run in the background. Okay, so now normally there should be stuff that's not used anymore, eh? Like the decoder, at least not in this file, because perform fetch players is no longer being called anywhere. So we can just get rid of it, I think. Ooh, it is exposed and it has one reference. No. Let's get rid of it. Voila. You can remove this. Now normally, see, it's still compiling. It's still not up. At least we will see it up once we try to hit our backend. What's up next? All of this registered players decoder thing. So now here's the question: should I immediately move it to like a separate place, or what do I do with this? It's really just a way to decode it into a specific type, huh? So even if I only put this somewhere else, I should still be able to use that or import it from somewhere else. That means that if I move this to, or if I would move that to an API, oh, I already have that thing. Yeah, I think it should be okay. So if I move function to API, stuff happened. But he didn't move everything with it. Okay, so let's do that thing one at a time. So we need the registered player decoder. So let's move this one as well to API. And I think the last thing is the type itself, which is just a type alias. Let's move. Okay, I can't actually move that, or what? Why would that be? That's too bad, huh? So I wonder if VS Code has a way to inline stuff, because, okay, I'm gonna try and show you what I want to do. So now it's compiling here at least. And what I want to do next is I want to have this type alias refer the API.elm thing. So what I think I can do, can you do that in fact? Can you re-expose other stuff? So if I say type alias snarf equals a registered player, but then they're a registered player of API.elm. Oh yeah, I think if I do this, I say that, then it should be okay, right? Yeah. And now I want to inline. Oh, and it the move didn't in fact change all of the other references. That's too bad. Okay then. Let's see if that works. Unexpose, no. Yeah, I guess there's no way to do that. Okay, but then we'll have to do that in the old-fashioned way, I guess. So this I no longer need, but I need a registered player somehow. Oh, yikes. So import it, please. Here we go. Okay, that's nice. Voila. We'll do that stuff one at a time. Ah yeah, now expect JSON with error handling has moved to full usage just within API.elm probably. Is there a way to navigate to the next error? Navigate. Next error. Go to next problem. Option F8. Sweet. Oh, don't care. There aren't any errors, in fact. Ah, those other red lines, these are just stuff that was removed. That's better. Yeah. Sweet. Okay, this is compiling. That's super nice. Then we need to change our main.elm references to the registered player as an import, not from registration, but from API. And everything should be fine now. Oh, there's one more. Ah, yeah, okay. So we still need to import registration, but only expose yeah, just this and then use it to get the model. I guess we could do as registration page or something. Maybe that would make a little bit more sense. All right. Is there more stuff that's not working? Nope. I guess that's it. So that's all of main.elm refactored to use the registration stuff or the registered players in API. Now we can do the same here, I think. No, because this one we still need to keep. Okay, we'll do this part later. To also move this perform fetch into API. Okay, so registered player. This is a local type alias, and it looks, I guess it looks different from the one in API because that one only has nickname. So I want player ID, and now I want this one instead of this one. Path. Oh yeah. Let's also change the registered player decoder so that we also, where is that one? This one. Here we go. Voila. So normally, eventually, we won't need these, in fact. At least I don't think that we'll need them. We can just use them in our fetches. So this one we don't care about anymore. Bye-bye. And then registered player. This reference. I think I removed something. No, that can go along with registered player type alias. Voila. And we just import that one. Huh? So import API registered player. Oh, it's already there. Oh, I did not say that one. There we go. Next error. All right, so I guess for now we call it directly, maybe. I don't know if this is a good idea. Voila. So now everything about registered player to yeah, maybe about the player info endpoint at least has been moved to main to API.elm, and both references to there from challenge and main are now using that one. So now what we want to do is try to map or to move this part also in there. And then eventually we want, what is the stuff that's always going to be different, I guess? Dealing with those errors, maybe? Maybe even not. Yeah, the fact that you want to do that call, I guess. And then maybe also the fact that this got fetch registered player info response needs to be handled locally within the page. So the message type, yeah, but we can always map that stuff, I guess. I wonder if we can now. Now I think I'm running ahead of myself. So first of all, this was a successful refactor already. Because it's compiling, it's gonna work. How do we verify that? We changed the stuff in the main and in challenge. So let's see if that still works. Okay, let's log in with Carmel. Hoppakee, oof. This I don't want, so let's run through that stuff. Yeah. Voila, Carmelit has logged in. Great. He cannot see a leaderboard because I don't remember why. Because we're getting 401s for some reason. Aha, Newbicorn. What's up, friend? We're doing pure refactoring today. No added features, or at least it's the plan. Soup. Actually had soup today. Whitloaf soup. Ah, here, regenerate triggered. So there is data in the leaderboard. Ah, I think I know why. I never clean these cookies. So now I have to figure out if I refresh and I go to log in again, Keycloak will log me in automatically and I should be able to see. God dang it. That's very strange. How come they are unauthorized now all of a sudden? How am I doing? I'm doing great, but it's really hot outside and I'm sweating like a pig. This is why I need good refreshments. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Yeah, so I do have ideas for your issue, in fact. So Unicorn or Newbicorn has a problem where he wants to make an app with a Discord Oauth 2, but he has some issues with it. And it comes down that he needs help creating a REST API that directly connects to their MongoDB and to return some data from it. Oh Jesus, you're looking for help while installing Swift for my Ubuntu Live? So Swift, I only know as the Mac OS thing. Oh yeah. So Swift is the programming language, right? That you can use to write code for iOS, for example. Yeah, I have no idea how you do that. I thought it was proprietary. I don't know how that works. Can you even download Swift? Or do you just need the libraries, let's say? Oh, it's open source. Oh yeah. Nice. I had no idea. That's cool. Yeah, that I don't really know. I've never done that. But the other part I do know something about. You've got Spring Boot, REST API, MongoDB, and that'll give you really easy stuff because you just define your Mongo, how do you say that even, aggregates, your documents, sorry, as some kind of a type, and then Spring takes care of the rest. Yeah, so this it'll give you a REST API that looks like this, and it's very little configuration that you want or that you need to do that. And if you don't want Spring Boot, I think I'm not sure if it works well in with Ktor. I don't think they have got like an easy one-to-one thing for that. Oh, you need help using Discord Oauth 2. Ah. That sounds like a really particular problem though. So Oauth 2, I think we covered in in abundance in the past couple of streams when we were figuring out how to do that with Spring Security. But yeah, then again, I don't know your the client that you're going to use. It's not that difficult Oauth 2 in a sense, in a broad sense. And there's, yeah, actually, that's not really true. That it's not difficult. It's actually really difficult and complex. There's a bunch of things you need to know about it. Just in time. Your issue is that you cannot connect with Discord. I was suggested to just make a PWA. And how would that help? You still need authentication, right? I think you want to look at what are they called again? Auth 0, I remember. Yeah, redirect stuff. Yeah, so for because of the redirect stuff, and normally your browser is doing that stuff automatically when HTTP protocol requires it, or like our server send this kind of stuff, then you need to you want to use the Oauth 2 implicit flow. So if we visit Auth 0, they've got, I think, the best documentation on everything. I want here, I want documentation maybe. And you want to take a look at implicit flow because that's like the go-to stuff for making mobile apps. It's either that or what was it again? If you find a library that handles that for you with PKCSE or something, that's like the best security you can get. But then you have to deal with much more stuff. Voila. New implementation should use authorization code flow with PKCE. So ideally you want to use this one. You don't really like Auth 0. They sound sketchy as fuck. They're not. I can yeah, I'm afraid it's gonna be long evenings of debugging or long hours of debugging. I had the same issue. I had to do it live on stream, in fact. But their documentation is really good, and they try to sell their product, which makes sense, but their documentation on like the concepts are really good. So this is probably the thing you want to look at. Native apps. Yeah. So just imagine that instead of Auth0's SDK, you've got something else that does the trick. And normally there are open source libraries that are not tied to Auth0, but if you're going to use Auth0 as your identity provider or your what was it again called? I think authentication server or something, then it does make sense to use their SDK. Unless you plan on switching to another platform, then use some open source that uses the standard, the standard protocol, I mean. Yeah. All I wanted is allowing people to log into their Discord account so they can see what servers they have in common with a bot. So what you'll need to do there is, yeah, it's not easy, in fact. Because I think you are going to need to do that to also get access to their servers on like Discord somehow. So I don't know about Auth0 or Discord's APIs, but they probably require you to pass along a token of a logged in user or something. And to get that, you need to use Discord's Oauth servers, or OIDC servers basically, to get their token, which then should contain claims that allow you, an outside app, to access their servers, to just have a list of their servers, for example. And you want that claim. And with that claim on your token, you can probably do a call to the Discord API to get that information. Yeah, so you need to do this so that you can send requests in the name of actual Discord users, let's say. And then you want some scopes. But I don't know if I think it's called guilds, right? Guilds are servers, so I think you need this scope. Yeah. And so this one, I think it's important that this URL is coupled to your application that you need to sign up with. This one. Identity. Yeah, and what's your what's it called? You're on Kotlin, right? So you need a way to do HTTP calls from Kotlin. So you can probably use Ktor for that. And then I can show you how I did it, because in my scenario thing, where was it again? Oh yeah, it should somewhere be in the client. Where was that stuff again? Let's just go to the scenario then. Yeah, I don't really I don't really do authentication. I just do the exchange in my. Sorry. I basically fake that I'm logging in. I just say, oh, I already have this job token here. You suck at making calls that I don't know how to build or construct correctly. Yeah. So I know I've learned some stuff about Ktor from before. You don't know how to do anything. I can't actually help you with that, I'm afraid. A lot of this stuff is just trial and error and reading a lot about documentation. But the Ktor HTTP client in general, what I can tell you about it is that it's extensible by installing quote-unquote features. And these features then have some properties. For example, here, the JSON feature basically allows an HTTP client to serialize and deserialize objects or JSON into objects and vice versa. And then cookies really just means act as if you're a browser and then react on set cookie responses, etc. Timeouts make sense, and then logging is just to do some extra logging. And the way you perform calls is by just doing get http client.get, and then you pass along the URL. You add some headers if you want, and then this was if you wanted to not automatically handle failures, you need to do this. So if you want to handle failures yourself, you need to do that. That's also a very good idea from CryptoMonad. Before implementing it in your app, make the calls manually with something like Insomnia or HTTP requests in IntelliJ, for example. You can just do a get to, I don't know, Google. Something like that. And then you'll get HTML from Google. So you can, that's a very good suggestion from CryptoMonad, in fact. Yeah. Using Ktor then. Let's figure out how to make the calls using Ktor probably. Yeah, you're looking at it. I don't know. So I just made some abstractions on that thing then. Yeah, okay. You do that. In the meanwhile, I think I was looking at trying to move perform fetch registered player info also into an API. But before I do that, I want to make a little commit. So let's go over the changes. We moved the registered players decoder into the API module now. And then in our challenge, we just imported that and then used it along with the registered player info decoder. So this stuff we moved into API, and then here there is the main.elm also using the same API thing. So maybe this is still a mistake, because in main.elm at the very top, yeah, I think what we want is we want to do a single import and then import them both. it makes a little bit more sense. Voila. And I think that's how we also got rid of those to-dos. And then cleaned up registration because this thing wasn't even using a registered player, or it shouldn't have, in fact. And let's do to-do so that we can keep track of that stuff. Voila, that's it. What did we do here? This is a refactor. So we moved registered player type and decoder into API.elm as a first step. Voila. Okay, and then I'm gonna copy paste your code into a Scratch file. Okay, here we go. Let's see. So we've got some main activity, which is Android stuff. Some UI stuff. Then there's a login button. When you click on it, login with Discord stuff happens. Here's that part. So authorization service configuration, no idea what that is. Looks like it's just a data class. And you parse URIs for that. Then there's some ID that your application has. You add it to the request builder. And then how does that thing get used? Get authorization request intent. So I think this is probably also part from Android, but I have no idea how that stuff works. Yeah. Hey, Mr. Rat, what's up? Let's just delete it and see if it breaks anything. We did that today, in fact, at work. We were like, okay, we're migrating this page, but does anybody actually use it? And we asked around a little, and then people were like, yeah, no. It's the first time I saw it. And then they were like, yeah, but maybe the support team uses it. Maybe the support team uses it. I was like, okay, let's delete it, then ask them. If they reply that they actually use it, let's just revert it and put it back. So yeah, so the thing that you're struggling with, I think, here is that there's some magic going on when auth service is doing the get authorization request intent. And so as long as you don't understand that magic, that's how long it's gonna take until you understand it, I think. Yeah? So you need to understand the magic now. That's like the downside of using a framework. I had the same thing with Spring Security. Like, you can use it to help you make some elegant code, I guess, or like make use of smaller parts to do the same thing. But if you don't understand how it internally works, then it's going to be very difficult to work with. If nobody complains about it being gone, it will be fun. Yeah, of course, because then there's less code to maintain. Which is epic. Yeah. Yeah, this it seems like let's see what they're trying to do here. This looks like it's expecting this. I don't know. This looks suspicious, this part. authorization request. Which one was that? net.openid.opauth maybe? I'm not sure. The redirect. Yeah, so don't redirect to google.com. Because what will happen is... Okay, let's quickly run through how Oauth works. Yeah, so I'll do my best to explain how it works because I've got the same thing. So let's follow along. We're a browser, and the browser connects to the UI. So for you, this would be your web app, your Android app. Yeah, you're going to have something to redirect to though. Wait, yeah, do you? I think, yeah, you're right. I don't think you do. This is right. Okay, let's look at this thing. So here's your app. You click login on the app. This generates some bullshit. Then both the code plus the challenge are sent to /authorized. Then they get redirected to the login. So that's basically still on your on Discord. So this is Discord Oauth. And then somehow this Discord understands that they need to send back the authorization code to your app. I guess it's because yeah, you need to capture somehow the output of the login in Discord inside of your app, and I don't know how you do that. But I expect that your what's the thing called? Yeah. Yeah, so what happens if you open a browser? You need to somehow have your browser send back that information to you, or to your app. I actually have no idea how that works. I've never done app development. Yeah, I think this is your redirect S6. Redirects the user back to the application. So if we read the stuff back, public clients, native applications request access tokens. Some additional security concerns are posed that are not mitigated by authorization code flow alone. Blah, blah, blah. So I have no idea how that works with actual apps. No idea. I think I want to make an app now because this is a problem that intrigues me, but maybe not today. In the meanwhile, if there's anyone that can in fact help Newbicorn, feel free to help them out in the Discord. So we're stuck indeed on the redirect. Now I only understand your problem actually, the Newbicorn. It took me this long. But so if you do log in here, this redirect, I think you want to capture that you want to capture moving or navigating to Discord in your app somehow. And because when you remain in your app, then your how do you say that, the Discord can also return or send this authorization code back to you using, I don't know, something else other than an actual redirect. Because you click buttons here, eh? But I don't think your issue is too complex, honestly. It just needs knowledge from somebody that has done OIDC in an Android application, for example. And you followed this one. Here you didn't like Auth 0, but Okta has the same article. Epic diagrams. Then there's an app auth thing. This is how it should talk with the authorization service. And do you know which flows it supports? This SDK? Yeah, I think you might need a server, in fact. Maybe that's the issue. Here, capturing the redirect in app. Since we will be launching a web view to authenticate users, we need a way to bring the user back into the app after authentication, irrespective of the result. Here we go. The way to do that is by leveraging the power of deep links in Android. Ooh, here's an overview of how the flow would look like. A user launches the app auth activity, which contains the web view. Okay. Okay. So this app auth thing contains already a way to get redirected to. User tries to authenticate, it can either blah blah blah. We capture the URL as a deep link, and the data passed in that deep link becomes our response. So then they add that kind of stuff to the manifest. But then still, which line number 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Data. Host Oauth Android / Discord. Yeah. Okay, now let's see. Yeah, so first they set up some basic stuff to be able to send requests using the SDK. Then they are configuring something to capture the redirect into the app. And then what? Oh, you do not get a response yet. And this is the other stuff that you had. So it seems like yeah. You define a custom protocol and register your app to be able to handle that protocol. Yeah, okay. But how does that work? Because some authentication servers don't allow URL and like random URLs. So I guess if they configure their URI to be droidchef ://oauth/discord, then this would also be the redirect that the server would be, or no, where the Discord would be calling on successful login, basically. But I know, for example, in Keycloak, I'm not sure if you can do that. What's that, 7070? Yeah, so to set your app thing, you need to modify the Android manifest.xml and then add this part here. So here they say scheme, host, and path, and that turns into this URL. Yeah, Discord would redirect the client to that URL and did not talk directly to the redirect URL. But they do put that information in HTTP, if I'm not mistaken. Bruce, still have paths. So, that would look like here. So here there are valid redirect URIs. You have relative paths. For SAML, you must set valid URI patterns. Yeah, I guess you could add some stuff like Droid Chef, my Discord app, Oauth, something like that. So Droid Chef is a bit silly because they use it as their own scheme. Yeah. That's how they came up with this part. From the thing you sent in the which one was it? The Droid Chef article. It's fun. It's fun to help out, but also to learn about how that stuff would work. I think it's mainly CryptoMonad that's helping us out here. Yeah. If they don't allow custom schemes and redirect URLs, you're out of luck without an additional redirection service. Maybe Discord will allow it because here's an article explaining how they did it, so I think they're gonna be able to do it. I didn't take that into account. Yeah, you should try this, the Newbicorn. In that case, your URL would be myapp://oauth/discord. Yeah, so the scheme is HTTP usually, yeah, so it would be like that. Oh yeah, I tried typing that and then it didn't work. It did work. So scheme is like a protocol, huh? So this is probably the only thing that you were missing. If that doesn't work, I don't think I can help you out further. Maybe you should look at how what's it called, Discord, and the Discord documentation of their API thing, because maybe in there you'll find whether or not they support using custom schemes. So back to more fun problems. LOL. What did we change here? In fact, nothing. Yeah, nothing. Okay, whatever. Yeah, the thing I wanted to explore next would be to move the fetch API into well, not the fetch API, but fetching the registered players. Where was that stuff? We didn't do that here. We did it in main.elm. Yeah. So we're using that stuff. Let's do 13 references then. In main.elm. Ooh, registration is also using that. Ah yeah, to get the list of all of the registered players. I think we do that as well in some other place. When you click the login button, you still get scope and then 0. No. Then it might be because you're not passing the correct scopes or something. Wherever you're setting that up in the... Oh no, you did add them to the builder. Code verifier. Nothing. Yeah. Ah yeah, that's also a case. So that's what I also briefly mentioned, that you need to still configure your redirect URL, or like a valid one, with Discord that belongs to your application. Ah, okay. Yeah. Okay, let's check it out. We've got our main.elm, which is using a fetch registered player info response, which returns that list of registered players. Maybe we should also move that there. Or we first do it here. Move this one. Let's try that out. So I'm gonna copy this one, or this part. I can actually copy the whole thing, move to api.elm, add it here as well. And then I'm not sure if I want this message to be defined there. The easiest thing for me now would be to pass this along as a message type. So it would be like this. And then this can become that. And then I can just make calls and always send the right message type and use the right decoder, and then do expect JSON with error handling, which can still remain here. Oh, and API error remains here as well. I think that's like a very good idea then. Okay, so this really just turns into perform fetch register player blah 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 with this message. Okay. And then instead of directly, we need to reference it using API. Cool, huh? Ui. It's not being exposed or something? Oh yeah. It's exposing everything. Ah, it wasn't saved yet. This is very... Allez, nice. That's pretty cool, huh? So I think there are 2 references to that over here and over there. So I can really... Now I want inline. Come on, inline. Dang it. Trigger inline suggestion. What the fuck? What does that do? This is it goes to settings. key binding when? God, I don't know. I just want to try it out. No? What does this mean? Maybe it's the suggestion that's in line or something. I don't know. It's not the shortcut. Okay, let's get rid of it. Voila. That already looks quite nice in it. And now we do the same with this part. So this will become perform fetch register, or we can really rename it now. How do you do that? Name, rename symbol F2. Let's just call it fetch registered player info. And then this can become API fetch registered players with the got fetch player response, and then we'll move that over to here. This was MSG. Here we can keep the decoder local. Oh, opponent ID I need to pass along as well. Huh? ID. And then I think that should be it. No. Oy. Name clash. Ah yeah, it's called the same, of course. It should be called this. Voila. Ooh, there's some progress in chat. Ah, you can actually see the URL. Identify. Was it that one? Does Elm support pattern matching? Yes, sir. It sure does. I will show you where. I guess it's already here. So result is a type of result that has both, and this is a result monad, which concerning your nickname you're probably familiar with. It is either errored and then it's this type, or it's success and then it's a registered player. And here we switch basically on result, which is the second argument. And then we say if it wasn't okay with the newly fetched player, which is the registered player then I guess, the type. In that case, we want to immediately destructure it and then pattern match on that part. And otherwise you get an error and you do handle API. Now I'm looking at model. And model in, okay, I was thinking because it looked like API.elm was highlighted, but this should not have a model in fact. You were confused by the duplicate function error before. It was the additional type declaration that it choked on. I would have expected an additional function body to just be ignored if a previous one would match. Yeah, I think, and because it had two different arguments, maybe it would work if we added the actual type annotations. So this is what it would look like. So you're getting in now I am really confused. Because this message thing, no, yeah, okay. So here you're also sort of declaring to which custom function that it binds to, basically. Or am I not? Result API error. I expected it to work if I would have just done this, in fact. Or rather, the result of this get thing. So this was a second type. Wait, no, where is it? The fetch that we changed. Yeah, so everything in Elm is a function. It's a bit weird. How can I show that easily? I think I used to have it in the registration or in the security part, maybe. No. Here. Nope, it's not there. Then it must be in registration or in main. Let's check main out first, in fact. So somewhere in this init part we built, or we are constructing. No, this is all view stuff. Hello. It's so difficult to find now because I was used to looking at this in IntelliJ, and I've made like this internal map, let's say, so that I could orient myself in it. I was looking for something where we wacht. Okay, let's just maybe it's just higher. Yeah, it's higher. Okay, here we go. Okay. Here we go. Okay, this looks familiar. So the moment we enter our application could also be from an actual redirect. What we do is we create a partially empty model. An empty model, this part is a function that takes 3 arguments: a current route, a key, and a redirect URI. And this empty model is going to return a model that's been set up with all of this crap, like all of the empty parts, and then the arguments that we pass along to this function. But this, the return type of that would be an incomplete model. So model takes also a token. And I don't think that we passed. Oh, we do pass the token. Okay, then. What's the part that we still build on? Because token is the last thing we add. Now, I'm not sure if this is a partial one. Oh yeah, we do add some other stuff to it. Wacht, oh my god. Ah, yeah, okay. Oh my god. Right, so empty model is a function that takes in more arguments than these three. It's really confusing. So we only pass 3 arguments to empty model. So both Oauth flow and token are returned later. So they're only filled in because that was the only thing that was different in all of these cases. Yeah, voila, that's it. Oh my god, CryptoMonad, you've got an eye for these things, you know? For me, it would be helpful if empty model would be highlighted as or highlighted as a function call, let's say, and then current route key and redirect URI or like arguments. Ah, yeah, it takes it looks a lot like Haskell, in fact. The difference with Haskell is that in Haskell you've got like a lot of nice and magical operators that you don't have in Elm. They made like a really conscious decision of not doing, I think maybe they even got rid of this one, which would be function composition, I think. What remains is pipes in both ways. Like that. Pipes. I don't remember what this pattern is called again, but it's like you've got an object URL of which you only want to update query and fragment, and this part just returns you a new URL with the state of URL but with query and fragment updated. Forgot what it's called. I think it's like the state pattern or something. And then applicatives, or yield functions, they don't have either. So what was that symbol again? And oh Jesus, I don't remember. I think it's that one in and then the other way around, I think, as well. In Haskell, you don't have these in Elm. Or you used to be able to create these and then just make your own applicatives in Elm. Yeah. So this looks quite a lot like Haskell, but I've never actually done Haskell. Save for one time when I was pairing with Tom Jans on a code kata during a code retreat, and that's the first time that that I learned that types are really just strong unit tests, let's say. And I encountered that. I was like, oh man, this is really making me think. Like, indeed, you can make illegal states impossible, but you can also make illegal code impossible, if that makes sense. Like that's when my whole strong typing exploration started, let's say, and that's why I'm so happy with stuff like Kotlin, which makes it really easy to do in a JVM. Yeah. It's difficult. I think it's quite difficult to do that, or to get other people on board with that. I made like this whole presentation about why strong typing is why you want that. Maybe I should do that next time on a Sunday special. And you have one of these pinned messages. Is it in there already? Nope. So let me add that real quick. All right, there, I added it. Maybe just for reference what it says now. I can added that stuff. So this is straight from the Discord. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. This is it. So now I added why strong typing is good. Applying spiral dynamics to Charles Handy's motivational calculus is something I want to rant about or talk about. This, I don't know, it's like, maybe it's good when it's November or something, because then everybody is depressed and rants are more easily accepted. Trying out multi-platform, coroutines, I need to do that in fact. Yeah, this is maybe one of just a regular Tuesday sessions. Here, writing a Discord bot in Kotlin, the newbiecorn. And then why I think apprenticeship or software crafting in general is important, and why strong typing is good. These are all Sunday specials. That's 8 of them. And I know that within a month, normally I said like every Tuesday when I have a lean coffee to organize, the Sunday before, I want to do a Sunday special. Who is Zed Shaw? But I will add them to the rant. So I don't know who that person is. I will add them. Voila. The programming motherfucker. Ah, yeah. I think I know who you mean. Cool. Yeah, why not? Yeah. Maybe first if I make a, like, if I've got a good idea of unicorn. What was I doing now? Ah, yeah. We moved those fetches to the API because now we can just use that. Now I want to know if there was anything else that was left over. Oh yeah, apparently. Ah no, these are just reactions to that. So this is updating our... this is another cool part of how you can destructure some stuff in pattern matching. This will also look familiar for you probably. It basically says, when I have a good result of a single item in the list, let's try to do something with that. And everything else I'm just gonna ignore. At least you made progress, newbiecorn. That's always good. Ah, here's some more stuff that... Ooh, I think we need to move that too, because I think I moved this stuff to the API. Okay, now this looks weird. I think I might have changed the wrong one, right? How is this stuff compiling now? So player info should not be no, it might... yeah. Look, this just looks weird. So the info part was gonna return a list of registered players, and then there's a decoder that's involved with that, and that's the thing I just removed. Yeah, okay, so this has become unnecessary now. Yeah, nice. You have 2 viewers and your productivity already declined. But it's fine. I'm learning with you, so it might be that my productivity measured in code output has declined, but my productivity and learning capacity has increased. Maybe that's another rant I want to do in a Sunday special. Like, people always forget, and it's not just managers, but I think it's also developers, that programming in general involves a lot of learning. And if you don't take that stuff into account, and it's all different kinds of learning, it's learning how to work with your colleagues, it's learning how to learn about the domain, and applying those learnings that you had in your model and stuff. But then it's also technical learning. How does Oauth work? How does this framework work? How do you do proper object-oriented design here? Can we extract this stuff into a module? Blah, blah, blah. Nice. One of the arguments is confusingly named. Yeah, it's the MSG part. So where was it? This thing is in fact generics. So it's saying there's gonna be some type, let's call it MSG, and something is going to add that to the statement. And yeah, that's the next result. That's why. Yeah. And then I'll return just that type. That's what's happening here. Like, still really can't get over how that actually like properly works. There's no real visual or like good visual thing there. Yeah, so MSG is a known thing in Elm, in the Elm architecture. It's this thing. Basically, it's all of the things that can happen at runtime of the web application. So if you want to know what the challenge page does, you go to MSG, you see, apparently there's some pending challenges being fetched. Same for a player, same for registered player info, perform challenge response. So all of these are all results of successful HTTP calls, basically. And then these are actions that can happen in the page itself. So when the game mode was chosen, there's a game mode tied to that. An appointment was changed, a comment was changed. So these are input fields. And then eventually a challenge button was clicked. And the moment you define these message types, you also need to handle them in your update function. MSG in the function body, not in the type. Wait. Over here, you mean? Yeah, now I only understand how this stuff actually works, or how I should read it probably. Is that fetch registered player info is a function that takes in a result, an API error, and binds that stuff with a message. I think binds is a good word for that. And this type is then also something that you can expect to be returned. This actually is a type though, because we don't, it really corresponds to only this, I think. Yeah, because if you look at how it's used, hang on, huh? I just want to see the yeah, here references. Over here, we just call that function with then the local MSG type, and that's all we do. So basically, the way to do the call, handle the error, maybe even, that's all in API now, which is what I wanted in the first place. Or you're performing the HTTP GET call here, and then just this really is a function, I want to say, that performs the GET call and then wraps it into this result thing, where we say that it's supposed to return a result with a specific API error, your expected list of registered players, which is, wait, so this type is defined because we're using expect JSON with error handling. Yeah, that's that part here. And this decoder defines the second type of the result, so the success type. And then message is the last part here. Man. I really still think it's quite confusing, like why I need to specify all of this. I don't really get it. Because I don't think it is a handler, is it? Or is that... no. What does get return? Let's navigate to this thing. The way Crypto sees it, the MSG in my function body, this one, is the name of the first argument, yes. The type of my first argument is result, API error, and then MSG. So it's a function that takes a result and returns a message type. Type of my first argument is, yeah. Ah, yeah, yes. But I see, that's the thing, I don't understand why it's this type. So this in its entirety is a handler. That's correct. But I don't understand why it's a handler. I guess. Because the rest of the type, like the API error and this stuff, is all defined by these things. It's a function that returns messages. But that seems so strange, yeah? Because if you look at where the fetch blah 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 is used here in here, or I know, yeah, of course. Godverdomme. Okay, let's Okay, I think I'm a bit mistaken because got fetch registered player info response is in fact a type that has this as like a parameter. So we're using the got fetch registered player info response constructor really. So it's a that's like Cordask. It's a constructor. That's what it is. But I don't care what kind of constructor it is, as long as it takes this stuff as an argument. That's it. Whew. So you would call that a handler or what? My god, this isn't the first time. Okay, thank you for helping me figure it out, because now I actually understand why. Is there a way we can write this in a better way so that it's more obvious, I guess, to me? I don't know. Maybe what we can do, maybe make this a type alias that says message constructor or something, which I guess we'll need that part, and then we'll do type alias type alias MSG constructor for MSG equals this part. Oh yeah, look at that. Can you define a handler to be a function that takes a response and oh yeah. Renaming the argument should be enough. Yeah, I think all of this is the constructor along with the type. And now we see which type of constructor it should be, and it's this one. And then we can oh, I'm liking this part. What do we think? Is this nice? Son of B. It's not just a message constructor anymore now. It's because it's tied to a list of registered players. So maybe this is the decoded thing. How do you say that? Array. The success type, maybe. And we'll do that. Success type. I don't know which one is best. Yeah, but the type does have something to do with the messages though. Yeah, I could call it A, that's true. I don't like calling it A. Because it's intended to... so this can become message constructor of that. Yeah, this to me looks more normal for some reason, but yeah, it might look less normal for somebody else. You're right that I could call this just A, which I think is a thing in the Elm community. Like if the type doesn't matter, then you should call it A, in fact. Wait, I'm gonna type over your stuff. Okay, here we've got the other one, the crypto version. Whoa. Is this what you wanted to write? No. Ah, wait. I think I see what you wanted to do. Like this. Why is it not working? Oh, it's a different type, that's all. Yeah, so this should be a list of registered players. Like that. Oh. So maybe the thing that I think will help me is if I try to call fetch registered player info from another place than here, I get that information that it's a message constructor that I need to use or to pass as a message. But I'm not even sure that that's indeed the case, so let's check it out. So fetch registered player info, somewhere in here that was here. So let's see. Do I even get that? How do you see in VS Code? Like I want to peek basically. Ah yeah, let's hover. Yeah, see? Now you see what the type is, so then I will understand. Ah yeah, it's the message constructor that I should take in or something like that. And we don't have that when we use the crypto fetch one. A quick tiny question. As long as you understand Oauth 2 and Ubicorn. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm also just learning crypto. This makes sense to me. So, thank you so much for the help and making me understand it. In fact, digging deep. Some other stuff we can also do now is, I think, make it a little bit more airtight. I think. These are just reactions to those player things. Handle fetch player response. Ah yeah, wait, there were some other places where we were using or trying to get other registered players. Now this just looks weird because fetch registered players indicates that there's a list, but there's only a single one that we're going to get returned. So let's rename that then. Player. And then this returns a list because that's the easier way to handle it. Allee, here, save that one too. Okay, that's much better, huh? All right, now let's go to main, see if there's registered player stuff here. Voila. This one we can replace by just doing API dot fetch registered player info. And then we want to bind that to this message type. So we use this constructor basically. And we can get rid of everything else. And then what I wanted to do is inline that stuff basically. So let's try to copy this stuff already because there's no inline or way to inline, in fact, inline code. Okay, let's go here. Bam. Because that's really what we want to do. And now I can navigate back, delete that stuff. And that's that already. I believe there's something else. Registered player, ne? Oh. Ah yeah, no, we don't need that decoder anymore. Cool, huh? Next is how do you open? Oi, oi. What does Ctrl-Shift-O do? Optimize imports. Find symbol. Yeah, that does, and I don't know. I think it's Command P. Go to symbol. I want home. And here there are also registered players. No? Players? Not even. Oh yeah. Ah, okay. And what does that do? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. This is cool. So fetch register player stuff is only an API. Yeah, this is exactly what I wanted. My god, thank you for the pro tip. Oh yeah. So this was what I was looking for. Nice. Very good. I think we cleaned up everything of making API calls to fetch registered players and stuff. Huh? Oh, this is really cool. I don't think that statement is true, Cordesk. You're unable to code and also unable to use VS Code. You just happen to know this shortcut. What the hell happened here? Did I do that? Handle bad status. Newbicorn. Newbicorn needs help. The data thingy with the scheme doesn't seem to work. Yeah. Yeah, so Nubicorn is trying to do Oauth login using or having, no, sorry. He's trying to do OIDC to Discord from an Android app. And he's using a library, which I already forgot, which basically handles the ping pong stuff between the Oauth server, in this case Discord, and his app, or their app. Okay, so moved the HTTP calls to fetch registered players also into api.elm. Nice. What's this part? Oi. That's actually what data does. So maybe some incorrect actions or stuff there. I think it's also quite important that you're using this activity in your code. That it's not like... and I think that it's then bound to your Oauth login stuff. Alright, I think this was a really nice refactoring, at least for the Elm part. Now let's look at if we can do some stuff, or maybe we can talk a little bit about how easy or difficult it was in Elm to do this refactoring. I think one of the major things I was doing, or like one of the patterns that I was doing in Elm as I was applying this refactoring, was leaning on the compiler. And so since VS Code isn't really, how do you say that, it's not really helping me a lot with inlining and stuff. I have to do that stuff manually. At least there was still the compiler that was telling me when stuff was wrong. Now the only reason I can do that properly with Elm is because Elm is strong typed, which means I really quickly get errors, but when I no longer get errors, the stuff just works, which is nice. I did find that I had to move very gradually, like try to do it in small baby steps. Those were the things that I remembered from doing the Elm refactor in general. And then in Kotlin, I think, yeah, it's a little bit cheating, I guess, because doing stuff in IntelliJ, it's too easy. With inline magic, you can do so many things. Do we still have some to do somewhere, or what was the stuff that I was going to refactor in IntelliJ, in fact? Let's just check out our domain, maybe. See if we can make that nicer. Oh wait, there was something that I vaguely remember that I wanted to do. And it had to do with the challenge part that we touched last time. Yeah, it's this part. Okay, so as you can see, here's, I guess, the main testament to why strong typing, I guess. Here's the rant. As you can see, both comment and appointment suggestions are just string objects. Now, of course, both comment and appointment are not just any string, because a string can be this, it can be empty, it can be an n, a new line, it can be a tab, etc, 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 etc. It can be just numbers, it can be whatever, it can be UTF-8 characters, whatever. It can be really, really, really anything. But that's not true for both comment and appointment suggestion. So eventually in appointment suggestion, I want to have something that's able to parse. I want to have something that's able to parse or to be parsed into a meeting event like Slack. Like Slack's remember or remind me. Hello? Remind functionality. So if you don't know how that works, it sort of looks like this. You do /remind me, and then here's a string that it tries to parse to update the Sunday specials rant topics or something, pinned message in Discord, and then you say next or tomorrow morning. So Slack will then be able to parse that I want to remind myself. This would be the actual message, and this would be the time, and it translates tomorrow morning into, what day is it today? So it's the 8th of September, and then morning Slack considers at 9, and it will tell you that. So that's sort of how that stuff works in Slack, and eventually I want to have the same kind of thing in the appointment suggestion, but for now it's just a string, but it can be a better string, and more specifically, better in this case means it needs to be useful. And when is it useful? Well, when it is blank, it's not useful anymore. So that's just space and etc, etc. And I've got tests for that. That's all of this part. Now, wouldn't it be cool if I didn't need to do this when I'm creating a challenge? Because I can just say, just as an example, what if instead of a string, I can just name it, I don't just want strings, I want useful strings. Now useful would be some strings that are not blank, so maybe it could be better rephrased as a non-blank string, for example. That already would help. The reason why this is interesting is because it won't go through all of, or doesn't need to go through all of the steps that the code steps through to eventually get to this challenge class, where it's going to be validated as a useful string. So I want this to happen earlier rather than later, because the earlier you can transform this into a more concrete type, the more easily you can work with this piece of code. At the moment you know that this is a non-blank string, you don't need to do this validation, of course, because it's already embedded into the type, right? So that's the refactoring that I want to do next. So maybe let's try to come up with a better name than useful string or non-blank string. What could it be? It could be, some people also go like this. They just put the name of the project in front of that. That's also bad naming. But actually, useful string might not be that bad. Right, then where do we put that stuff? Let's put it in core API. and just under the root or something, and not here in API, but let's put it just a random. Not in any of the packages. So maybe we can make a simple one. Let's just call it common and then have it be a file. And now we can define what a useful string should look like. So the way I would do that before is I would create a data class and say this is a private val, I guess S, which is a string. And then I can move that validation into this init function. But before I do that, I want to move to this test here, copy them over, create a new test for useful string, and then here I define what useful means to me. Shit, I think I made them. Is it in the wrong package? It sure is. Delete. The reason for that being that core API does not have a test directory yet. So let's do just that to test Kotlin. Now we can in fact create a test for that. Allee, so I did Command Shift T and now we're waiting. Voila, create new tests. And now it does remain in the correct package. Nice. Okay, I was mistaken. For some reason it tries to put it in the web module. I don't know why. Getting rid of the internal part, because sometimes when you run these tests with IntelliJ, they'll simply not run, or not all of them will be run or something. I still have something in my copy buffer. Voila. And now we want to change these functions a little bit, because challenge doesn't, we don't want to use this thing anymore. So instead of challenge, what we want is a useful string. Use fuel without, in fact we only need a single one. So the message would be you cannot create a use, or maybe we should just say this string is not useful. Voila. Let's use the constructor instead, where we just pass, in this case it would be comment to the constructor. This can be renamed to a string. And we want to keep our not valid exception. So let's run, cannot create a useful string with unuseful input. I don't know why I keep writing unuseful. Unuseful. Let's run it. So now I'm just testing the same logic in isolation on my newly created useful string data class, which is being run with Maven, I see. So that's gonna be a little bit more slowly. So let's go into the Gradle references where you at here. That's a strange place. I want this one, I think. And I want to run tests using IntelliJ. Apply. Okay. So all of them are failing because none of them are in fact throwing an exception, which is exactly what we wanted because it's just working now. What I can do next, you won't believe what I can do next, is I'm just gonna move the init stuff that's in here to useFulet string, and we say validate useful string with S. Voila. Thanks for hanging out, Cordusk, and for your amazing tip to finding, what was it, the symbols? With the command P and the hashtag thing. That was really helpful. All right. So now let's change the message because it's just a simple thing. This string is not useful. Voila, there we go. Then we run it again. I can also yell Newbicorn. And it might be not my voice, but the lo-fi or something on the background. All right. So now that we've got running tests, we could change this into using useful strings. And then that would break some stuff. Now, of course, because these are useful strings, we can get rid of the validation here. That means that all of this stuff can also be removed. That means that my challenge test also no longer needs any of this. And this is the coolest thing about Kotlin, because the coolest thing about Kotlin is that it's not, how do you say that? I don't need to test that you can enter null as an argument to a challenge, because the compiler just takes care of that. Otherwise I would have to do this. Now it's suddenly an optional comment. Oh, your laptop doesn't want you to use the internet. Bad laptop. All right, so now that we've done that, there should be stuff that's no longer compiling because, well, we changed the contract of the challenge constructor, but there is only one place where we do that, and that's over here. So now we can still choose, do we want to first create useful strings from these two types? And then it would already be better. I will pray that your app works. Say a small prayer. Here we go. There. But yeah, so now I want to push other clients that want to create a challenge to first come up with their own way of transforming it into a useful string, because I believe that they will also benefit from having this information. Oh, it doesn't. There weren't enough prayers. So I want to get rid of this stuff and really just forward them. Then who uses create challenge? We've got a one test function, which needs useful strings to these things. Maybe I'm now thinking, do I want to create an extension function on string that I can make any string and make it into a useful string or something like that? Oh, really? Peter Nerlich. There is a brand new software and game development category on Twitch. Thank you so much. I will take that into account. Thank you so much. That's very helpful. I need to write that stuff down. Maybe. I use software and game development. And can you explain a little bit about it? Like, it's a new feature of Twitch and they don't push it hard, or is it because the science and technology has split into multiple categories? I'm gonna read up on that stuff someday. Haha. But yeah, great tip. Thank you so much. Right, so that's at least the test that I changed. Now the actual production code. Here we are also pushing a string instead of a useful string. So let's make sure that other people can still use that. Because here we are in, what is this one? Registered player. This looks like a, oh, it's still a core domain. Oh, yeah, huh? Ah, yeah, okay. So to be able to register or to challenge a registered player, I need to add the useful strings. So that makes sense, huh? That is still in our domain. We're still in our domain here. So now though we need to again update this. And now we're saying that our command also needs to have useful strings. So now we just need to change the type of our challenge player command to use also useful strings. And here again, we can do that because we're still in core API, but this is one of the things, yeah, just because it's in core API, we can push this useful string to the outside. And in any case, I already think I made that clear. So let's see where this one is used. I guess that's used in multiple places. But it's really created in the controller here. Ah, here. There was a programming category that was removed some time ago, and game dev and programming were drowned away in science and technology ever since. Made a request for it on Twitch user voice 7 months ago. The second highest thing, and got just radio silence. Ah, okay, nice. Thank you so much. I think if I were a better person or like a more active person in the LiveCoders community, I probably would have picked it up there as well. So well, thank you so much. And how recent is this? Is it just since, because last week I was also streaming on this on the science and technology. And then what are you doing? Are you like going are you doing like actively checking who is streaming in science and technology, but is also streaming in web development or stuff like that? If so, holy shit, hats off to you. That's an insane amount of effort. Ah, okay. Only a few days, okay. Thank God. So my streaming schedule is only... Oh, you're such a kind soul. Thank you so much. That's really cool. Okay, I will spread the word. Maybe we will quote unquote rate somebody and then we will give them the word as well if they're not doing that yet. And help out a little bit. Okay, so here we are transforming our JSON into an actual command. So I think it's just at this point here that we want these strings to be useful strings all of a sudden, because I don't think I want to push because player ID is also something in core API, but here I think it's just a type alias, and that's more easily transformable by Jackson. So now I've got two options, so, and I already have a preference. So either I make this into a useful string, fuel, really, voila. And then I've manually covered it, so I made the explicit choice of transforming these bare strings into useful ones. And now I will, the moment I'm constructing this, which is in this function here, which is the first thing that happens when I'm entering the challenge player REST endpoint. So the moment my clients send me data that I don't really want because they're not useful strings, I'm crashing hard and returning that information. Oh yeah, it must be incredibly satisfying to see the category grow. Yeah, cool. That's really cool. We should, if you, did you take screenshots of that? Because that's like a nice feedback to the Twitch people that implemented it, in fact. Because then you can see like a really clear overview all of a sudden. That's the thing we want. Alright, so this was already like a nice refactor, because we're making sure that comment and appointment suggestions are useful strings, and we're doing it as early as possible so that we can just depend on them being useful. And useful in our case means that it needs to be not blank, basically. And we've got tests to support that kind of stuff. Cool, eh? So now the only thing I am still thinking of, do I want to have a different style, let's say, of creating a useful string? Do I want it to look like this? Make it useful or something, I don't know. Or as useful string. I don't know if that doesn't look that great. I think I want to keep it this way. And then there's one other refactor that I still want to do, I think, and it's not using a data class. So I remember in one of the more recent Kotlin updates, there is, instead of a data class, where you just wrap a single value, basically just like this, and because we're really using a wrapper class, I think what we can do is use inline class. I forget if it was. Oh, I want to do that, in fact. Oh, okay. Is it really experimental? I think, ooh, I might be using an older version of Kotlin in my compiler. And I think that's indeed the case. So before Yeah, let's undo that stuff and undo this as well. Keep it a data class. And then I just want to have a full compile going. So let's go to Gradle and run everything. I hope this still works, in fact. You hope Twitch staff has stats on growth like this. Yeah, me too, actually. They have to know that some category is suddenly getting flooded. Yeah, hopefully. Hopefully they do that. That's nice. Cheers. Cheers for your cheers. Thank you so much. Wait. Type mismatch. Oh. We didn't fix all the things yet. Yeah. So here in queryable challenges, we suddenly have to deal with useful strings instead of regular strings. So now the question is, do we want to just use useful strings as well here? I think we do. Because this is also just still in a core API domain. We can really keep it there. But then the place where this is used, which is in this interface here, which is then implemented by the challenges DAO. Here, our repository tests would fail, I think, because it's impossible for our repository, or for, what's it called again, JDBI, to transform a useful string class into, it's just the regular string. So now, how are we gonna test that? We could, let's first compile. What we could do is, if we would have them, yeah, we don't have any tests in our RDBMS module anymore, I think. But that, yeah, there's nothing here. Your test. This is surprising. Why was that? I forget why that was. Oy. Stuff is not compiling anymore. I didn't do anything. I guess it's still doing some stuff here, so maybe it'll eventually turn out right. Oh boy. Anyway, what I was gonna say is we don't have any tests for the queryable challenges DAO for this one, but we do have a registration scenario, or like a scenario thing. So let's look at that. Try to run that test. Wrong thing here. Scenario. We'll just navigate there and then run all of the tests in here. Because these now serve as our integration tests for our database, basically. It just tests a little bit more, which is actually fine. Just takes a little bit longer to run. But in this refactoring, we've also been relying on type information. Just not as much as we did in Elm. And what we didn't have in Elm is in fact tests that verify the correct behavior. But yeah, I don't want to be writing, what's those things called again, the end-to-end tests. Allez. Cypress, for example, I don't want to be writing Cypress tests to check that the UI works properly. What's the problem? We got an internal server error. And it's probably because JDBI is unable to persist a useful string. Now we have to think about how to deal with that stuff. Here's JDBI stuff. Update execute function. Here's some more information about the insert statement. Voila. Here you can see that it's a useful string instead of a regular one. No argument factory registered for type. So this is what I like about JDBI. So because they use their own specific lingo, I'm now going to look for ways to create an argument factory, of course, to help transform my useful string into something that JDBI is able to understand. So let's do add argument factory or something, because it seems that JDBI is trying to use that. Here. Register argument factory. There's also an object argument factory. Let's try that. Oh, I guess this one. Or type compatible with a prepared statement set object. Yeah, move there, please. Okay, I guess we'll try to do register object argument factory, and you put it on a what? No, I'm gonna look up some documentation on this because nice. Maybe this thing, tab 9. Isn't it that machine language thing? Ah! Yeah, I think it is. I've never used this stuff, so maybe now is not a good time to install this, but worth checking out, I think. Okay, where is the most used classes? Voila. And how do you know how long value works then? test insert values. I guess we could take a look here and then see how this test register object argument factory works. Yeah, I wonder how the string, what the string value thing is in fact. Just to, yeah, fucking hell. Wait, and where were they using it? In anything. Just straight onto their methods. But yeah, I don't want that to be on a single method. I want it to be on like a very general thing. Otherwise, I would have to do it there as well. Okay, let's just do this. Okay. And then now they require some class. So for us, it would be the useful string, I think. This one. Let's see what this does, I guess. So now we have to wait a longer time again because we're running at least the full scenario. Should have only run the challenging scenario thing, because that's the only one that's actually going to try and insert a challenge, which is a thing that uses useful strings. So I'm not sure that this is gonna work, honestly. Let's already check out what it looks like here. So we've got the I just want to copy paste stuff. Yeah. All right, let's go there. Ah, it already went to the. Okay, fine. And explosions. Why this time? Same error? Yeah, still getting a 500. But why this time? Can't infer the SQL type to use for an instance of useful. Use set object with an explicit types value to specify the type to use set object. Oh, that's on the Postgres prepared statement part. So I think what we might need to do, the only thing we might need to do is do SQL type equals. So that would be this. And I noticed that we could use types dot, and then it should be varchar. So this is value. This might as well be enough. So let's run just this one. And I think we might be Gucci already, yeah. Oh. So what is string value? What magic is it that it just understands that string value is a string? Ah, here. Implements a value string, so that might be the reason? I'm not sure, yeah. Just as a get value, maybe that's it. I stop my debug server because I need to redeploy it anyway. Imagine that this just works now. Oh, that's too bad. Okay, so now I'm starting to wish I had integration tests for my database or for my DAOs. Could not find column mapper. Do we need to also say right, so is this now an array or what? I can't really understand it. No. I hate it when they do that. Oh, it's a 5 array, so we can just move these here and then add a comma and then should be okay. Right? I think they fixed that in the newer version as well. So there, I think JDBI is still trying to do that mapping. Bind Kotlin. Let's try it out, see what this does. Goes quick enough, why not? But I don't like that I'm guessing now. I would have expected that this would have fixed it already. And I was also thinking that it's gonna be super annoying because these things are gonna be quite generic. I want to use them all over the place probably. It's a different, same error. So I know that there's some way you can do that. So what we're trying to do with this the regular one and then bind maybe this one takes some arguments or something. No. Also what the. So even if you do this and register, it's still not working. Could not find column mapper for type useful string. And when? Maybe that's like a better signal. So was I able to save it and is the result returner. Oh yeah. So in the find challenge, here it doesn't work in the other direction, I guess. So I think it might have worked saving it, But then the other way around doesn't work any longer. It's kind of weird, huh? We could just make it really explicit, I think. If you do register bean mapper, I think if you do that, then you've got full control over how you map your result to your own object. Might be a bit better. Oh, why is it an argument factory? What if I get rid of this? So I'm just guessing. I'm guessing. I don't like it when I'm guessing. Let's do JDBI docs. Go here. Column moppers. Yeah, so there's another thing, and I'm using SQL object or something, this part, yeah. Using SQL objects, maybe it's here or something, I don't know. Binding arguments. How method arguments are bound as parameters to the SQL statement. Yeah, sure. Compiling with parameter names. That's a specific option you need to pass or something. Then binding a list of values is done through the bind list. Ah yeah, okay. It's good to know. Also good to know. Oh. From a Java bean, and I think the bind bean is the one that we're using, eh? No, yeah, it's sort of bind bean, but then we use bind Kotlin, which is the extent or the Kotlin equivalent of bind bean. Or you can bind from public parameterless methods of an object. Oh yeah. All right. And then we've got the query part, so that's transforming row stuff into objects. Here they're still not using objects, I guess. Blah, blah, blah. Use a register row mapper to register a concrete row mapper class. Ah, okay, so that's what I was looking for. So you need to well, this is only one way, huh? You need to supply some way to, and this is the thing I was looking for. You need to implement a row mapper that's bound to some type, and then you just do it yourself. I think that is quite nice, because all of the annotations that I'm currently using are like not that helpful. They're not really readable. Use register column mapper to register a column mapper, so it needs to implement that kind of thing. Money mapper factory. Wado heck registered bean mapper. We don't do that, do we? I guess it's this one. So I think the register bean mapper and the other way around only works if your bean contains primitives. So things that are transportable or transformable from SQL types into Java types. Register field mapper, what does this do for a given class? Huh. Also nothing I want to do. Oof. Yeah, I don't see anything that helps with nested values, in fact. So maybe we just write our own, what was it? Row mapper. Query. And then the row mapper stuff, huh? Don't get what the register row mapper factory would do. What does this do? And maybe I also want to know about the, what was it again? The register object argument factory, this one. Sorry, what? Is this in Kotlin? What the pain links? Can't find it. It's too bad, huh? Ugh, great tool my ass in fucking Lombok. Kill it with fire. Here. Let's do it again. SQL query. No, we want the register row mapper thing to happen, and then just find a way to map it ourselves. Okay. Which one was it? This? And then we need to have a queryable challenges row mapper, which doesn't exist just yet. So let's create it in here. And it should, what was it again? It should extend row mapper for a queryable challenge then, huh? Not that one, it's this one. So we know that we want to return a queryable challenge. With the ID. And so let's do that. ID, challenger ID, opponent ID, and comment and appointment suggestion. Voila. And all of these will just create as fields. And then something with the results set, we need to do get blah 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 blah. So the ID is a UUID? Get UUID or something? True. I don't know what we can do with the statement context, in fact, what's on here. I guess what we also could do now is just have a column mapper or something that understands how to transform the useful string into something. We still even have the alternative of not putting the useful string on the queryable challenge. That's the other thing we can still do. Just have this work with regular strings and then do the transformation in our... I guess, actually, now that I think of it, and it's my lazy mind speaking or my lazy brain speaking, but it's more in line with how the JSON works, in fact. Because the JSON is our other representation of a challenge, and we don't touch that thing either. So the earliest that we would learn that a row in the database is not a useful string for a comment and appointment suggestion would be when we create a challenge from a queryable challenge, which would be in the where this one is used. So over here, we do get by ID and then we do challenge. So here it would then explode basically. Okay, I think I'm gonna do that instead. That makes a little bit more sense to me. I don't need to write a row mapper. I can just keep this as it is then, I think. Like in its entirety, in fact. And then let's go to the... Where was I just now? I think it's in the challenge itself. No. In the repository. Repository. Yeah. So actually this should no longer compile. Ah, no, wait. These need to be regular strings. Now that won't work anymore. And this is why I think I transformed it. So here I want the actual value. Now I need my useful string to supply a value getter, I think, so it can do it like, oh man, say value, which is a string, and it has a getter. Get return this. So it's not redundant then, as. Ah, there we go. The compiler was late to the party. Voila, so now we need to unwrap it basically. That's what they're doing there. And here we want to wrap these into, oh shit. Let's just add a trailing comma there, then I can do this and make it into a useful string. Voila. That's much better. Now let's rerun the test. Should have compiled, honestly. Come on, green tests, let's go. Come on. Yeah. Okay. Alright. So it was a little bit more painful, but it was just because I didn't know enough about JDBI, honestly. I don't know why it's not compiling here. Fucking. Type mismatch. It requires a list, but it returns something else. Oh, this is being ignored. I want it to be reified, but I don't even know if I have to do the listing. What does this return the map to? And result iterable. Okay, never mind. I do need to do that. It's so weird. The map to. Which one is this? Yeah, and this is Java. So there aren't any reified types on this, so it looks like the extension function is not being used or something. Which means that's probably why. But then maybe there's another map too or something. No, I don't understand why this was working before. It looks like maybe yeah, I just don't know. Very weird. Maybe it wasn't working in fact, because I don't think I ran this test in a while. Oh, newbie corner, keeping on failing. It might help if you... oh shit, it actually is failing. Me too, newbie corner. Oh, I think it's because it didn't wipe the database or something. Yeah, it doesn't look like it did that. And I don't want to wipe. I want to run all of these tests using test containers eventually, and then I don't need to fuck with this mess. Whatever. Looks like it's working. Okay, cool. Let's do a commit. So this is yet another refactoring. This one is in fact doesn't belong to that refactoring. At least that I know of. Yeah, no. So what did we do? We introduced a useful string. Introduced a useful string type that contains the validation log. Oops. Of what it means for a string in the domain to be useful, and then use it everywhere. And then we'll commit that most challenge is done the AO test in a separate commit. I guess we fixed a bug here or something. I don't know what went wrong here. Somehow this wasn't compiling. All right, we push. Okay, so let's go over how our refactoring went in Kotlin. It was also quite smooth. We had the major problem with JDBI, but I extracted this validate useful string stuff out of useful string by just first copy pasting the tests that were in challenge test into its own separate test for this one. Then I made sure that they failed, then implemented this to make sure that this message is coming out of it. And then what? Then I had to provide a getter for that internal wrapper value. Ah yeah, and I couldn't use inline class yet because my Kotlin wasn't up to date yet for the projects. So that's maybe the last thing that I want to do. So somewhere in my build plugins, maybe here. So I'm using Spring 01 for 21. I guess this is probably a new version for this one. But mainly I'm using Kotlin 151. I think this is also updated already. But more importantly, yeah, it's this one, I think, where I'm setting which target to use. Here, language version. We should be using 1.5. Oh, I hope. And then I think we need to upgrade this. Kotlin Gradle plugin 11. One 153. And then let's check for an upgrade to this one too. Alright. Then I don't know where that one is coming from. In fact, is it Gradle plugins? There's no 1.4 here even. Gradle plugin portal. I expected it to be this one. The bindings. Yeah, I don't know. But at least I think this was already enough. I updated the Gradle plugin to also use 153. And then I said in my language version, use 1.5. And then I don't think we need to use a free compiler thing anymore to use inline classes, and that's the next thing I will try. Let's check if this bomb is Kotlin still experimental? It doesn't exist anymore, the bomb. Let's see if this works. Downloading Gradle, the internet, aka. Now that I think of it, I could change the common conventions Gradle script file and update Gradle from there. Before, I don't think it recognized it. I mean, IntelliJ didn't recognize that. This is taking a while. Just wonder what it's doing now. Guess it's a considerable amount of work that it tries to do now, because it's all of a sudden recompiling all of the classes to a newer version of Kotlin, maybe? And that's why it's taking so long. Anywho, I think we can already try to look for something we should do next time. So the challenging part isn't done completely, I don't think. mainly the thing that was left over. UI form to challenge the selected player. The last thing we needed to do is incorporate a challenge mode. So also add challenge mode to the JSON basically, both in the UI so that it gets sent along, and then in the backend. There's also no redirect, so on success I think I want redirect to the main page, the home page. Make sure get calls can be executed in an unauthenticated manner, because when you get challenged via a URL, you don't necessarily already have an account. Ole. Yeah, I guess it's not for tonight then. This takes a long time. Indexing is brutal. Yeah, so next time this will be mainly it, I think, and then so make sure clicking on another player redirects to the challenge page, but also upon successful challenge, get redirected. Redirects to home page. Voila. Okay. Oh, look at this. These were the refactorings that I actually did today. Lol, we in fact called it introduce useful string value object that checks for non-empty strings and use it everywhere. I guess everywhere for now means in the challenge class, and then remove duplication of got fetch registered player info. I think we did that because we moved it to the API.elm files. All right. And this we've got in here, I think. Make sure API leaderboards and players can be executed, because when you get challenged, yeah. So we made a new story of this last part, in fact. So that can be, I can get rid of that as a task. Okay. Oh yeah. This is the one that I noticed last time. All these security improvements, I hate it. Oh, scanning files. It looks like it's gonna be a little bit testable at least, and so if we go to our useful string class, it wasn't a class, that's right. It was, oh my god, it's in here. So if I turn this into inline, think I can remove this. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see, I guess. Okay, anyway, that will be for next time then. Alright, thank you so much for watching, for the interesting questions. Next week I won't be there because it will be the first real live lean coffee of the post-COVID, I think. It's not the first one, it's gonna be the second one, but the first one that I will attend, I guess. And then on Sunday, normally I would do the Sunday special, but I've got my sister's birthday to celebrate. So I might do it on Saturday instead. So Saturday we might do, let's update or check which one I want to do. The first one in the line would be applying spiral dynamics to Charles Handy's motivational calculus. Let's see, that the problem is that I waited too long to do that. It needs some preparation, but I still feel like I want to do that, so it's gonna be probably that. Nice. So check in on Saturday for a Sunday special, huh? But yeah, and if I don't do it, then I was too lazy. Newbiecorn, thanks for hanging out. If you've got a concrete thing, put it in the Discord. Maybe we can help you out, or the people that are in the chat there can help you out. Discord one last time is over here. Oh right, and we were gonna host somebody, or so if I go to twitch.tv and we instantly mute everything, because otherwise we're gonna end up in a feedback loop, which is always nice. I was just glad the crypto monad was able to help you out. Okay, and now I want to browse, I think. And I want to browse programming or something. Filter by programming. Or actually, wasn't it like no, see, so he is streaming in software and game development. They're in just chatting and then also using software and game development. So let's just find any of them and then tell them to use software and game development for their next, what's it called? Their next stream. Alright, let's host Bash Bunny. See you next time. Host Bash Bunny. There you go. See you there. Deuces.